Okay, for those that don't know me, I do see some familiar faces on there. So this part may be a little bit repetitive, but I'll try to add some differences or change it up a little bit as I talk about this part. So my name's Alex Wilson, owner and broker of record at Remax Wealth Builders Real Estate. Been selling real estate in Toronto for 12 years. I was a #1 Remax agent in Ontario for individual transactions in 2019. Number 13 Remax agent in Canada, individual in 2020. Number 34 Remax agent worldwide, individual 2020. 2021 stats aren't out yet. Inducted in the Remax Hall of Fame, awarded the Remax Lifetime Achievement Award at 35. But none of that is relevant to what I want to talk about today. What I want to talk about today is investing. And I've been successful at that. So my first investment condo I bought with a deposit of $39,300. And now I have a portfolio. It's actually worth close to $15 million, which, and even these numbers are, I think the condo numbers are up, but 14 condos, a High Park triplex, and an apartment building in Hamilton. Yes, I have invested in Hamilton, and definitely going to talk about that today. So I like to be transparent. This is what I own, but I like to show people the long view on this, because real estate is not a game of instant gratification. Real estate is a long and boring game. And think of it like a pension fund. You're investing in real estate to create your own pension fund. So I look at it over 30 years. Now, you may not have a 30-year investment time frame, depending on your age and where you currently sit in your demographic of your life cycle. But I do it in 30 years to make it as simple as possible. Why 30 years? Well, mortgages are amortized over a 30-year basis as long as you put 20% down. And all mortgages of investment properties need 20% down. And at the end of 30 years, your mortgage will be paid off. So I know at the end of 30 years, all my mortgages will be paid off. I'm not factoring in cash flow or anything. I just want to keep it as simple as possible for everyone so people can see the amazing wealth creation that over a long period real estate can create. So this is everything I own right here. Again, there's actually been some new additions to this, so I do need to update this. But overall, in 30 years, my portfolio will be worth $36 million. And I'm going to apartments, that's the Hamilton buildings. I can tell you right now that it's not worth $3 million anymore. It's worth $4 million. So I'll talk more about that as we go through the presentation to my apartment building. The one that I still own, at one point I had 3. We'll talk more about that. But the one I currently own is worth $4 million. So because there's inflation and everything like that, and I want to be as real as possible, I'm like, well, what is that $36 million worth in today? So what's my purchasing power? So my background's in economics and finance. I know $1 today isn't worth $1 tomorrow. So how do I know what my dollar tomorrow it's worth in regards to today's purchasing power? What purchasing power will I have tomorrow? So that $36 million is really worth nearly $21 million. So that means if I do nothing, if I just stop today and call it quits, in 30 years, I will have a portfolio worth $21 million. And if I apply a rate of return on that, because let's think of this, let's put our investor hat on, let's think of it as a pension fund. So we apply a rate of return. This is part of our investment portfolio. If I apply just a simple 5% rate of return on that, that means I could take out over 1 million a year, $1,040,000. And again, that's in today's purchasing power. That's adjusted for inflation. Over $1 million I could pay myself a year in 30 years off of this portfolio. Now, I want to protect against inflation, so I want to reinvest 2% of that per year to protect against inflation. So that means I could pay myself a salary of nearly $625,000 a year off of my portfolio, and still have a ever-growing portfolio that I could pass on to future generations if I so choose. So now I have generational wealth that I'm passing along. And now you may be thinking, well, Alex, you got a $15 million portfolio. I can't fathom creating that. Well, you don't have to. this is what I do every day. It's if I was on Bay Street, I would trade stocks every day. I do things that regular people aren't going to do. But what I show people is that, okay, well, even with $1 million real estate portfolio, which in essence these days is 2 condos, not even if they're Toronto, it's 1.5 condos. With a $1 million portfolio, I could still give myself a $70,000 payout per year in 30 years. Again, these are inflation adjusted numbers. So this is like, you have just, by having $1 million worth of real estate today, you could have a pension that pays you $70,000 per year, recommended $42,000 pullout, so you're protected against inflation. Isn't that incredible? So you built your own pension fund. You know, you have real estate that you'll be able to live off in the future. And I forgot to mention those numbers were that I was calculating where the portfolio is going up. That's calculated at a 3% compound interest rate. So it is such powerful stuff, but you need to take advantage of leverage, use your assets to grow your portfolio. So, it's great if you only have 1 property, but imagine having 3 properties, or as I showed in that example, 17 properties, right? So that's where things really start to multiply. And you're like, wow, this is, I can really achieve exponential growth by using the assets that I currently have to grow. We're investing in 2 things right now. 2 things. We're investing in real estate and we're investing in time. Time is finite. I got bad news for everyone on here. We're all going to die at some point. So you're using your time, which is finite, and using real estate. They're not making any more land. So by using those 2 finite resources, you can achieve incredible wealth over the long term. So now that I have you in that mindset, that investing mindset, going, how do I grow a portfolio? Where should I invest? Where are my growth areas? Why am I investing in Hamilton? Well, let's talk about the growth of Hamilton. So the Greater Toronto and Hamilton area is projected to be the fastest growing region of the province, with its population increasing by 2.8 million, or 44.6%, to reach almost 9.2 million people by 2036. 2020 now, right now. So that means we're going to be at 9.2 million people in 14 years. That's not a very long time. These people got to live somewhere, and build states that over 100,000 people come to the region each year from immigration, migration, and from other parts of Canada, and people are starting families. Well, I got news for you. Toronto is expensive. I'm in a group chat with realtors across Canada. Jerry, hi Jerry. Jerry is my good friend. He services the Niagara, St. Catharines area. I know he's on the call today. We were all chatting. We're just talking about our respective markets in regards to, okay, what's the activity, what's going on, and we're talking. We got people from Vancouver. We got people from across Canada, everywhere, and someone from Vancouver was talking about their current market, and I go, yeah, my market isn't slowing down. Just down the road, a house sold for $6 million and needs over $1 million reno. So why are people going to be moving to Hamilton? Because it's affordable. It's affordable in the grand scheme of things in the GTA. And why I like going west versus north versus east, but specifically west, is that's my commerce corridor. Okay. So I may be jumping topics here, but I get passionate about Hamilton. I'm really excited about Hamilton. But you got to think of where the commerce and where commerce moves and where the jobs are. So Toronto, I call the mothership. So when I go west, I go Toronto, Mississauga, Oakville, Burlington, Hamilton. Then I go into St. Catharines and Niagara, hi Jerry again. And then I get into the States. Okay. So I have a natural commerce corridor between Toronto and the States. I'm limited by land in that corridor, and Hamilton is strategically located centrally. So I can live in downtown Hamilton and I can work in downtown Toronto. I can live in downtown Hamilton. I can work in Hamilton. I can work in St. Catharines, Niagara. I could also work in Kitchener-Waterloo. I can work in Guelph. I can work in Cambridge. I can work in Burlington. I can work in Oakville. I can work in Mississauga. So I'm strategically located in Southern Ontario to just to the west, so I can get anywhere I need to go, and I'm living in the affordable market. And the thing about Hamilton is that it's a real city. It's a real city, and I'm going to get more into that of it being a real city, because you maybe other people on this call may be going like, well, I live in a real city too, but I'll talk to why I consider Hamilton a real city. But just the growth of Hamilton. So National Bank found that Hamilton has the highest economic momentum, second to the Niagara region. So, you know, I have Hamilton, which has the greatest economic momentum by according to National Bank, and then right beside it, which is Niagara and St. Catharines, I have the second. So the investment that's happening just west of Toronto, getting into the Greater Toronto Hamilton area, is significant. The momentum is going to Hamilton. And I found this cool, and I didn't even know this. This is something today I found out. It has Canada's largest domestic express cargo airport. The city is at an ideal location to establish a hub for international trade. So there is a huge commerce that goes through the Hamilton airport. Why? Because how busy is Pearson International Airport? So again, you have the infrastructure in Hamilton to create a thriving economy. It has been recently designated a foreign trade zone by the federal government, which means eligible for tariff exemptions on imports, which is, again, a big deal. So that means if we're getting into some sort of tariff war with another country, this area would be an exempt for the imports that we bring in to make manufacturing materials. So Hamilton is going to grow, and it constantly has low unemployment relative to the other regions surrounding it. So currently, right now, it's only at a 5.5% unemployment rate in the Hamilton area. So it always has a lower trending unemployment rate than other areas surrounding it. Now, when I say the real city, where I talked about the real city, this is where Hamilton comes into play. So Hamilton has a thriving arts and culture scene. So what you need to understand is that when Hamilton was a city before there was Burlington, before there was Oakville, these were towns, but Hamilton was a city. It was Steel Town. Hamilton has over 700,000 people. It is a large city. It has a downtown core. It has established infrastructure all built into it. Now, what happened to Hamilton is that it had relied for a long time on the steel industry, and there was a downturn in the steel industry, and that brought down the economic prospects of Hamilton. But that has now shifted. But what that initial steel infrastructure, that steel money would have built, it built an infrastructure, built a real downtown core. And when I first invested in Toronto, I invested at Queen and Gladstone. So that $39,300 deposit was a rate at Queen and Gladstone. That was in 2012. And that's sort of my investment journey. Now, Queen and Gladstone is right by the Drake Hotel. I have to assume that everyone on here knows what the Drake Hotel is. If you don't, Drake Hotel is kind of the beacon of West Queen West. But when I bought there, it was cool. Don't get me wrong, but it was still sketchy. And a few years after that, it was voted the second coolest neighbor in the world by Vogue magazine, and it really took off. Artists can't afford to live in West Queen West anymore. A lot of those artists picked up their bags and they moved to Hamilton because Hamilton was affordable. Now, this is what happens with arts and culture. Money follows arts and culture. So first, the arts and culture moves there. So you have the creation, the art. And then people are like, oh man, that's really cool. I want to be part of that scene. So then people start moving to be closer to the arts and culture. And then that's when the money starts flowing and people start paying more and more to be close to the arts and culture. And then eventually full gentrification happens and the art scene can't afford it anymore. And then they move on again. So it used to be in West Queen West. It's not there anymore. You can't afford arts and culture in West Queen West. They moved to Hamilton, and that's why you have a thriving music scene, a thriving art scene, a thriving cultural scene, restaurants. Again, the infrastructure is there. There's a downtown core there. it's significant, and we're seeing people. So now picture this: you're in your 20s, and you're like, oh man, downtown Toronto is so expensive, I can't live down. And my work, maybe it'll bring me around. I can work from home now because it's post-COVID, and I only got to go downtown maybe 2 days a week. I want to live somewhere it's affordable, but I want to enjoy myself. I want to go to a restaurant, and maybe I want to check a new lounge out, all walkable distance to my condo, catch a show, listen to some great music. I'm not going to do that in Mississauga. I'm not going to do that in Oakville. I'm not going to do that in Burlington, but I can do that in Hamilton because it has that scene to do that. So if I'm in my 20s or maybe my 30s, heck, 40s or 50s, these areas like Oakville, Mississauga, Burlington, those are for individuals, for families, maybe for downsizers with grandchildren. Those are the people that are going to be attracted to those areas. But that young professional that is looking to have a certain lifestyle isn't attracted to those areas. They're going to be attracted to Hamilton. And I've seen people leave Toronto and attracted to that scene and living that scene and move into Hamilton. That's where I talk about Hamilton being a real city, because it has a huge downtown core footprint that was originally built off of oil and gas, not oil and gas money, off of steel money. And now you see the full the continuing revitalization and gentrification of the Hamilton area. So money follows arts and culture, and yours should too. So, and I'm just not talking, hey, invest in Hamilton. My money is there. I've invested over $300,000 in Hamilton since 2015 in buildings, in apartment buildings. That apartment building on that first slide that I talked about, that apartment building I bought with partners. I had two partners on them. I bought that for about $950,000 with them. And today it's worth $4 million. Now we put together about $500,000 into the building, but it's worth $4 million today. And then subsequently, there were two other buildings that were invested in as well. Those have since been sold off, but we still have that one building in Hamilton worth $4 million. So I've done it. I've seen it. I've built in Hamilton essentially. I've dealt with all that. And the one thing I learned about buying a building and renovating a building is that I'd much rather someone else do the building than be responsible for the building as well. You know, that's $950,000 plus $500,000 worth of capital that we had to invest in the building. You can buy a condo for a far less capital commitment. You're dealing with contractors. You're dealing with the city. You're getting stop work orders from the city. You're dealing with unexpected things in the wall. You're dealing with lawsuits. We dealt with it all. And at the end of it, I did this all in 1 year. And at the time I was single and didn't have any kids. Now I was in my late 20s or early 30s. Now I'm 40 with 3 kids and married. I wouldn't even imagine taking on that task again. I remember the unexpected cash calls, and literally 1 month, like counting like change, like trying to find money because there was a cash call coming up. So we have to pay some unexpected expense. It was a very stressful year. And what I found out is if I just bought condos, I would have made the exact amount of same money in that period of time. So I'd much rather other people build the building. So talking about the transit, Hamilton is actually the Television City location, which is at 163 Jackson. It's only a 10-minute walk to the Central GO station, which will take you right down to downtown Toronto. It'll also take you to your friends out in Niagara as well, because you have the GO train that is extended all the way to Niagara. That's supposed to be updated there, but the province is also investing $3.4 billion in a new LRT transit system, which again will just be south of this location. It runs along King and Main Street in Hamilton. So I have significant transit infrastructure that's being invested in Hamilton. So I can get where I need to go on the GO train. I'm only a 10-minute walk to the GO train station. Plus within the city, I'm getting a $3.4 billion LRT system. So from this location, I'd be able to get up to McMaster University. I can get across the city. I can get around because again, this is a real city. Hamilton will become the Brooklyn of Toronto. So Brooklyn used to be kind of the armpit to New York, and then things change and people gentrify Brooklyn, and now Brooklyn's the cool cousin to New York City. The same thing is happening here in Toronto. As affordability gets eroded from Toronto, people are going to move to the Hamilton area for a lifestyle, for a cool scene. It is happening, and I've seen it. I've been investing in Hamilton since 2014. There we go. There's my slide. There's my $3.4 billion slide. And you want to beat other people's money. So why Hamilton? Well, there are some major developments happening in Hamilton. So Pier 8 is a new development area in Hamilton. There was a contest for this a few years back. Citizen Development Group and Fernbrook Homes won that contest. These are massive developers that play in the Toronto real estate space. The Toronto money is coming. Well, and Brad J. Lamb, who's the builder of this building, you know, he was forward thinking and secured land in this area before the big money is coming. So you can get in before the big money comes in, because these builders will launch at a much higher price point. I'm going to beat their money, and you should beat their money too, because it is coming. And I've seen it happen. I've seen it happen in Mississauga. I've seen it happen in Oakville. I've seen it happen in Burlington. And when the big players start getting in these areas, prices go up, because there's a brand name that comes with them, and there's big marketing budgets that come with them, and all that money goes to the end price point that they sell. And I will tell you, these units will sell by these builders at the higher price point. So you want to beat their money, because they will lift the price point of this building after the fact. This is your chance to get in. So why Hamilton from a value proposition? So downtown Toronto condos are launching it today at $1,600 to $1,700 per square foot. I've seen, and not just the regular stuff. If I get into a more luxury level in other certain areas, I can easily find stuff over $2,000 per square foot. Entry level units from an M price point are $700,000 to $900,000. So again, if you're like, Alex, I want to invest in Toronto, well, how much money do I need? I'm like, you need 700,000 plus to break into the Toronto market for a one bedroom. They typically require 15% deposit. So you're looking at $100,000 to $135,000 that you'd have to tie up. Well, Television City is coming in about $950 to $1,000 per square foot. You can get one bedrooms at around $450,000. You're definitely under the $500,000 mark. So at a 15% deposit, your investment is only $67,500, making it an affordable option in the GTA. This is going to be the most affordable option in the GTHA out there. And again, you're in a real city of 700,000 plus people. You have a GO train station that's going to bring you right to downtown Toronto. You have a thriving arts and culture scene. You have McMaster University. You have major employers, easily accessible to KW, easily accessible to Niagara and St. Catharines. Even if you're getting to the States, because you want to follow west, you want to follow the commerce west. If I was going east, what happens when I go east? Well, so I got Toronto. That I'm going to mess up the locations because I don't know the order of the cities. Scarborough. Then I'm going to and I get into Whitby, Oshawa, Ajax, Pickering. I know I'm not saying in the right order. I do know after that, then it goes Bowmanville. Then it goes nothing. Then I eventually hit Belleville, Kingston. 5 hours later, I'm in Ottawa. 5 hours if I go that's if I go north a little bit. 5 hours to get to Montreal. That's a long drive and a long corridor of nothing. Whereas when I go that west corridor, Toronto, Mississauga, Oakville, Burlington, Hamilton, Niagara, St. Catharines, United States, going up a little north, then I get into the KW area, getting to London, getting to Windsor, a much more robust corridor for commerce and money heading west. And the one thing I know about this, living in the city of Toronto and the GTA, is that we are congested. So if I were living in the east and I had to go west, that's going to be an absolute nightmare. So I want to focus on the west side because that's where the money is, that's where the job is, that's where the commerce is. And continuing on looking at the value proposition. So neighboring communities, Mississauga, I'm seeing $1,400 price per square foot. Oakville and Burlington trading at over $1,200 per square foot. Again, they're going to be coming between $950 to $1,000. The Real Estate Investment Network, RAIN, voted Hamilton as the third best community in Ontario to invest in. Average home prices are up by 35% year over year, with average sold price now at $976,000 for January 2022. Why that's relevant is because condos are the affordable option. Condos always lag the housing market. There is still significant growth for the condo market in the Hamilton area. And that's what we're already seeing with the condo apartments price increase by 38% year over year to $572. You're able to get in below the average sales price for condos in Television City. And the one bedroom rental rate, I checked this out. So one of my partners, I wanted him on the call today. I'm going to do a video with him on Thursday. Tyler, he wasn't available. So one of my business partners, Tyler, who owns my apartment building with me, he turned that into a whole business. He's basically Mr. Hamilton. So from 2015 on, he was buying apartment buildings, raising private equity funds. So he owns a significant portfolio worth tens of millions of dollars of real estate in Hamilton. And he has active rentals in the Hamilton market. So one bedroom rental rate, he's like, Alex, new build all day long, 18 and 19. He's like, you can get that today. So expect by 2025, $2,000 to $2,100 realistically. That's the expected occupancy date for these buildings. So there's no issues getting that in Hamilton. And I can tell you, in our apartment building, which is not downtown, which is on Main Street, outside of the downtown, Main Street East, not the greatest area. We have lower level basement one bedroom units renting for $1,500 per month. So the rental market is there, and there's growth available for the rental market. And that's where I'm seeing when I look at the pricing. So my rents are still not as high as Toronto. I'm probably about my rents are probably about 10% less than Toronto. 10? About 20% less, because I just rented a similar one bedroom unit to the layouts here for $2,100. So say 15% less than Toronto. But in regards to an end sales price, that one bedroom in Toronto is currently worth $750,000 versus a $450,000 valuation here. So my rental difference isn't that much. So from a cash flow perspective, I'm much better off in Hamilton because the value of the property today is significantly lower, but that value is going up. Just think of it being the Brooklyn of Toronto in the future. So that's that part. Now I'm going to introduce you a little bit to the building. So I'm going to pull up the building here. Just give me a second. Wow, a lot of people came on while I was talking. And if you have any questions, put them in the Q&A box down below. As I said, I'm very, very passionate about Hamilton, and I love this location. We have friends that own a coffee. It borders right on the Durand neighborhood, which is a very nice neighborhood in downtown Hamilton. Our friends own Durand Coffee. Aberdeen is just north of here. Aberdeen, this is where the old Victorian mansions are, and this is where the Handmaid's Tale is filmed, all those Handmaid's Tale scenes with the beautiful mansions. That's just north of here. That's just north of this location. Okay, so let me just pull up okay. So where it's going, so Television City, it's going on the old CHCH TV studios, hence the name Television City. So you're gonna have this beautiful old mansion, and then rising from the mansion, you're gonna have these two 32-story towers, which you see here. As I said, the Heritage Building, built in 1850, which will be repurposed and preserved as part of the Television City building. And these buildings, 32 stories, the views are gonna be absolutely incredible. And these will be the tallest buildings in Hamilton. And let's call it the elephant in the room. If you do some research, Television City did launch before. It launched in 2017. I was involved in the project in 2017. So I must really like the project if I'm selling a project that had previously been canceled. But what held up the project is that the density that they were trying to get. So back then, I'm probably getting into way too many details, but I like to give more than less. Back then, it wasn't uncommon for a building to sell without full approvals in place. Because at that time you had what was called the OMB. So if you weren't getting what you wanted the city, you could go to the OMB, which is a provincial body, and they could override the municipality and go like, no, this makes sense, you can build this. So the building was sold without full approvals in place. Again, not uncommon for that time, but there was a political change during that time. And they switched from the OMB to the LPAT. And what happened when they did that switch, the LPAT gave much more power to the municipalities, and it started dragging out the approval process. You can ask any builder about this, and they will have some very choice words about getting things approved, the switch from the OMB to the LPAT. It just dragged the approval process on. And the issue, what happened was it dragged on too long. So yes, they finally got approval for 2 32-story towers. And what was the big holdup is that the people on the mountain didn't want their view blocked. So it took a lot of work by Brad J. Lamb to get these buildings approved, because the people that lived on the mountain didn't want this height. They wanted them significantly lower, and he pushed through. He's going, this makes no sense. You're 10 minutes away from a GO train station. You want investment in the downtown core. You want intensification. You want density. Anyways, he eventually got it. Problem is that your construction costs went up significantly during that period. So this whole approval process dragged on for nearly 2 years. Construction costs went through the roof. The project wasn't financially viable anymore. It would have lost money being built, okay? The thing that people don't realize is that then you can't get financing. So if you bring your pro forma and you go to the bank, hey, pro forma, I sold these units for this, can you give me money to build the building? The bank's gonna go, no, because you're gonna lose money if you build the building. So that's what happened. So the building was forced to be canceled. Great news is that approvals are fully in place now. The building will get built. And that is the backstory. That's what happened. So the building was sold originally without approvals. Again, not uncommon back then. There was a switch from the OMB to the LPAT, which extended the approval process. Project became unviable because of rising construction costs. And here we are today. But that's the backstory when I talk about 32 stories. The city did not want to give them 32 stories, but they pushed through and they got the 2 32-story buildings. You're gonna have an amazing outdoor pool in the area that on top of the podium section that divides the two buildings. And here's another rendering here of the two buildings. It'll be stunning on the again, these are going to be able to be seen from the water because of the height that they are and how Hamilton kind of goes up like this. So kind of sitting up, raising above over the water. Here's a picture of the corridors. Another picture of the buildings rising up from the historic mansion. Owners and residents will be able to enjoy hotel-like amenities featuring an outdoor infinity pool, fitness center, sky club. Additionally, a tech center will allow professionals and creatives to use workspace environment that fosters collaboration and fulfills work-at-home digital needs, and a children's play center which will appeal to growing families. Picture of the play center, your co-working space, lounge space, fitness center. Hamilton in the midst of a cultural renaissance. I said it's arts and culture. It is a fantastic city to live in. To give you an idea of just neighborhood guides showing you a bunch of things that are located in the area. Team around it who's building it. So the builder is Brad J. Lamb, who's building it. And his buildings in Toronto, from a resale perspective, have done incredibly well when they hit the resale market. And what he's bringing to Hamilton is he's bringing Toronto style, Toronto standard, as he calls his the Lamb standard, to Hamilton. It's something that doesn't exist out there yet. And it is going to be the destination that people are going to want to live in. So here's the floor plate. So I've gotten many emails, people like, where's the price list? Where are the floor plans? They are being released tomorrow. So I will have a recording of this webinar, and I will have pricing and floor plans going to you all tomorrow. But you can get an idea of the size of units here. So I'm just zooming in. So we got our 2-bedroom corner units here. So these are great layouts. Look here. These are floor to ceiling windows wrapping right around. Tons of light coming in these units. Windows in both bedrooms. Look at these. Great 1-bedroom, like perfect 1-bedroom. I walk right in. You may be like, oh, 464 square feet is small. My 1-bedroom is 428 square feet in Toronto. It punches above its weight. It doesn't feel like it's 428 square feet because it's a well-designed layout. It's the same thing here. Look how you walk right in the door, boom, right into kitchen area, right in the washroom. Here's my living space. Here's my bedroom. Nice large balcony area. It is a nice, efficient layout. 439 square feet. Again, I have a 428er. Exactly similar layout to this. These are smart, efficient layouts which help keep the end price down for you, that's what the end user cares about. We talk about price per square foot in regards to how to identify different, how to compare buildings, but it also comes down to end price. The end user that's looking to make this their home, they're not asking what's the price per square foot on this. What they're doing is like, well, can I get the place for 500,000? Can I get the place for 600,000? My budget's 650. Can you show me everything that's up to $650,000? That's what they're talking about. And these efficient layouts allow you to come in at a very affordable price point. Here's our one in dens here. So again, a really great layout. Look at that. That could easily be made into a 2nd bedroom. Then I come into this large space. Now, here's my small studio unit right here, 343 square feet. So that allows you to get something in the 300s. And again, these great corner units. And look at windows in both bedrooms, large 1+ den layout here. And then these are the penthouse layouts. So we see these here. So these would be our larger options for those end users that are looking for more space, ranging from 1,394 square feet to over 2,000 square feet. Jerry, if you're looking for a downtown Hamilton crash pad. So features and finishes, I'm not going to get too much into those, but we're looking at 9-foot ceilings in the buildings. Oh wow, a 4-pipe system, that's rare. So what a 4-pipe system means, I'm getting technical, people don't typically think of this, but that means I can turn my air conditioning on in the winter, and I can turn my heat on in the summer. Why that's relevant is that typically in a condo building, my experience is you're in a 2-pipe system and you get these awkward months. So April and October are typically the awkward months where if you're in a two-pipe system, south-facing unit, and you get a warm April, your unit's 28 degrees and there's nothing you can do. 30 degrees sometimes, nothing you can do because I haven't turned the AC on. Same thing in the winter. You might be getting a little cold early, or again, typically it's people being too hot. People aren't generally too cold. And again, if when they shut it off because they're getting ready for winter, and again, you're like, oh man, it's so hot in my unit, and I can't turn the AC on. 4-pipe system, you don't have that issue. You can run AC and heat at the same time. So that's everything there with that. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to stop the share here so you can all see my face, and I'm going to open up the questions. So we have the Q&A box at the bottom. Again, this is all recorded, so I will send this out to everyone after, along with the pricing and floor plans tomorrow. So when I get the pricing and floor plans, those will go out, and it's going to be a worksheet program. There'll be full instructions in the email tomorrow. So there we go. Great, yeah, great question. So can you please provide background on this builder? They have a recent history of canceling projects. Yes. So again, it was the getting caught between the OMB and the LPAT change. There are full approvals in place now, and I can tell you the building will be built. I've dealt with Brad before on other projects, and my joke is the second time around it gets built. So it will 100% get built. He has full approvals in place. The building. Hey guys, I'm just laughing because one of my clients who lives in Port Hope is giving me the gears because I said there's nothing after Bowmanville, and obviously Port Hope and Coburg are after Bowmanville. But yes, yes, there are things after Bowmanville, but the commerce runs west. So again, going back to the cancellations, yes, there were some projects you had to cancel, but that was again the background reason. The approvals were delayed because of the switch over from the OMB to the LPAT, and then the projects became financially unviable. And you can't get financing to build the buildings if there isn't a viable pro forma in place. So that's what happened. Someone else can give me yes Mark. It can get confusing in regards to the directions that where I reference things in Hamilton. Yes, Aberdeen is to the south of Hamilton, but if you're standing there, it feels like it's to the north. It's how the city's situated. Someone asked about builder quality. Again, the resale value on Brad J. Land buildings, they do very well. So Theatre Park's an example. It's one of my favorite buildings in Toronto. I've put resale clients in there. They absolutely love the building. It's a very modern style, modern minimalist style that Brad goes for with his buildings. So he does have a good finish quality when these buildings are complete. So there is a good quality to the buildings when they are completed. Deposit structure. Yes, so deposit structure is 15%. I will have more information on the capping and development fees tomorrow. So that is coming with the pricing and the floor plans. Occupancy date will be in 2025. And there is the right to lease during occupancy. Yes, there is a right to lease during occupancy. Someone asking, I noticed there are almost no new build 1-bedroom rentals available in Hamilton right now. Do you know how many condo units will come online around the time this building occupies? I don't have that exact number, but again, speaking to my investment experience in Hamilton, speaking to Tyler earlier today, there is significant demand for rentals in downtown Hamilton, and there just is not the supply to service them at all. So and again, it goes to where's my affordable option? Hamilton is going to be my affordable option, and it's my option that's in a real city. Again, question one is occupancy 2025. Both towers being released at the same time. I believe so. Yep. Deposit structure again, 15%. I'll have the full breakdown tomorrow. I believe it's going to be 15% over 540. So when I talk about that, when I say 15% over 540, typically it's 5% in the first 30 days. That last deposit will be due, that final 5% will be due in 540 days. And then at some point in the middle, there'll be another 5%. Could be 90 days, could be 120 days. I don't have that exact breakdown of what that second 5% will be, but I'll have that all tomorrow in the summary. What my projected rents? Projected rents for 1-bedrooms in the building, 2,000 to 2,100. Jerry, rental guarantee. No rental guarantee. No rental guarantee. That's only a Calgary thing. Scott, we'll go offline. We'll talk about in regards to what I recommend. See, I guess I'll go into a broader conversation on that. So when people ask me, Alex, what's the best unit to invest in? I own everything. I own a studio unit. I own 1-bedroom units. I own 1-bedroom plus den units. I own 2-bedroom units. I even own 3-bedroom units, and I own an apartment building, as we discussed. They all have a different purpose, and it depends on what your objective is. I have clients that only buy 3-bedroom units, or they buy the biggest 2-bedroom units because they want to own bigger spaces. It depends on what your budget is, depends on what your perspective is. You want to buy good. So what you want to do is you want to look at floor plans, you want to look at value and what those two things offer. Someone asking, because they looked at it in 2017, roughly you're looking at that similar to 2017. Parking and locker details, I'll have more of those tomorrow. Parking, I believe it's going to be $70,000 for parking. Now you may fall off your chair when you're like $70,000 for parking. Oh my God, Alex, it's Hamilton. Here's the thing, and again, Tyler, and no vested interest in this. Him and I were chatting today, and he does building in Hamilton. You're on a water table, and it's very expensive to go down. So they're not making money building parking spots. This is just literally the cost it is to build the parking spots. It's very expensive to dig down and build the parking spot. So the digging is the most expensive part. Digging the hole is the most expensive part. And it's very complicated digging the hole. So you're expecting $70,000 for the parking and limited to a specific size of unit. So again, that there won't be a 1-to-1 ratio parking to units. I'll have an answer on that exact specification when the email goes out tomorrow. Same thing with lockers and confirming locker price. What type of buyers? I expect I'll have end users and investors, and that was my experience last time too when I sold the project. Can you recommend any websites that focus on new builds in Hamilton? Condo Now. You check Condo Now. You can check Talk Condo. These are two sites that I know that just talk about that are condo sites in general. That talk about new builds that all over. We can talk a little bit more about that later, Scott. Okay, so I'll say someone's asking comparing it to another project site. This one here, because it is going to be an iconic site, is going to be the tallest towers in Hamilton. It is going to be a 10-minute walk to the GO train station. You're right up against the Durand and Aberdeen neighborhood. For me, this is the best location in Hamilton. So I'm going to go, this would be, if I'm investing in a Hamilton condo, this is the condo location that I'm investing in. Just checking here, just yeah, so someone's asking about the tenant profile in Hamilton. It's changed significantly from when I started buying in 2014. So you are getting professionals that are renting these. You're going to get international students that are renting these. So Mac University, remember Mac University? I shouldn't just say, well, I totally forgot. Just as Mark pointed out, I'm going to say north of here, but it feels like it's south when you're at the building. Just north of here, walking distance to the building, is the medical. There's the School of Medicine, which is just right walking distance to this building. So when you're looking at doctors that are or people that are studying to be doctors, this building is walking distance to that location. Something I forgot about from last time, 2017, when I did that. Well, someone's asking about speculative to future value. No, it's not. If I'm looking at the average condo price being $572 in Hamilton right now, and you can get in this building, and studios are going to be in the 300s. One bedrooms are going to be in the mid 4s. I'm not speculating, because it's going to be the end price point that people are looking for a property. I'll talk about where the medical institution is that's attached to McMaster that's close to. That'll be in the, I got to pull that up. That'll be in the email that I send out to everyone. Yeah, we have a mortgage broker that we work with. Yes, this is not no one else. This is the very first selling of the building. It has not sold yet, so it's the very first offering of this launch. What I mean by that is 2017, the building did get canceled. This is a new launch. No units have been sold in the building, period. I'll just leave it. LRT, yeah, LRT, there's a brand new LRT, $3.4 billion, been approved by the Ford government. That is going ahead. I'm very in tune with it because I was very excited because I own a building on the LRT line. So $3.4 billion, that has been reinvigorated, the LRT system. Someone was asking why the original launch was canceled. That was in 2017. Talked about it for about 10 minutes already. Oh yeah, there'll be someone asking who's going to rent our unit for you. There'll be just alone, we rent over 100 units per year. So whether it's my management company or another company that we recommend down there. So again, I have connections down there that have people that have management companies in Hamilton that'll be able to assist you to rent it out. Is it a for sure thing? Will shovels be in the ground? Yes, for sure. Shovels will be in the ground. This building is happening. I would expect you to have shovels in the ground this year. So any more questions, or I'm going to wrap this up now. Again, this whole recording will be going out tomorrow with the pricing and floor plans. When you get that email, if you have additional questions, you can send me an email. You can call me. If I don't answer, send me a text because my phone does ring a lot during the day. And I'll also have the procedure for securing a unit tomorrow. Maintenance fee, that will be in the email that's coming out tomorrow. And oh, can you buy in a corporate name? Yeah, that's not a problem. Someone asking about that. I think I got everything answered there. So again, this will be sent out to everyone. Again, I'm happy to answer your questions. Love seeing some familiar faces on here. It's great. My familiar faces know that I have significant investment experience, and you know, when you talk about holding companies or various structures and everything, I can help you with that. I have my mortgage broker to help you with that. And looking forward to working with everyone on this project. Okay, talk to everyone later, and you'll see an email from me tomorrow. Okay, talk to you later, guys. Bye-bye.